Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are across the world. Just early 5 minutes, just to give more time for more people to join us on today's session. So, I do encourage you, please, if you have your question, feel free to put that all on the live chat. We will be starting in the next 4 minutes. So, we are just creating more time for people to join us. So please subscribe to the channel. Don't just only subscribe. Also like, share to everyone, or if you have anyone who is highly interested in study abroad, anyone who have questions, something already in their mind to ask about opportunities. So please share with them. In the next 4 minutes, we'll be starting. And I hope you'll be able to learn more and also get, some tips um, and things you need to know about opportunities. So we'll just give you more time for people to join. We're going to be starting 4 p.m. front. And it's just a 1 hour session. Thank you for riding on this journey with me. And I also do encourage you today, we will talk about different opportunities, but specifically focusing on study abroad. And not just only that, we'll talk about preparation, what you need to know, how you need to prepare, understanding the difference between study abroad, whether in the UK, US, Australia, or anywhere. It's all almost the same principle that applies to everyone. So I hope you'll be able to enjoy and learn. So the time is clicking and we will soon start. Hello, Olumide. Thanks for joining. Please don't forget to share. Don't be the only one to hear this. Don't be the only one to learn from this opportunity. And also, if you have questions, I will encourage you to put that on the live chat. Ask any question that you want. There is no limit to any question. So we have about 2 minutes. So we're giving it more time for more people to join us, not to miss out from this opportunity. We have some people in Nigeria joining, some people in the UK joining. Hello, hi, Alatime, thanks for joining. Please invite your friends. We have people from Kenya as well joining. So Kenya, you're 2 hours ahead of the UK time, 2 hours ahead of Nigerian time. Ghanaian, you are 1 hour behind of the time. So we have people from Ghana who will be joining. Wherever you're joining all across the world, just know that you are in the right place today. And we're going to be starting very soon. As I mentioned, this session actually was created to support people. There's a limit to all what we can do. Even personally, as a staff working in the university, there's so much more we could do, so much more we are trying to do, and we can't reach out to everyone. But this platform will be an opportunity to reach out to lots of people. Don't forget, ask any question. No question is silly. So I'm here for you today. And of course, after this events or virtual events, it will also be available on YouTube. Please, once more, don't forget to subscribe to Pure Empowerment with Yetty. Invite friends and family. Don't be the only one to learn from this great initiative or the opportunity to be sharing. So, yes, it's time. Please share, like, and click on the notification button to learn more. Before I start, once more, my name is Yetunde. Thank you to everyone who is watching me live. Share with your friends and family. One thing I like doing most especially, is to share a lot of quotes with people. There's a quote that says education is the key to success, and that's education or having knowledge about something is what differentiates you from others. And one thing you need to also bear in mind is before anything else, preparation is the key to success, which is why today I have decided to pick the topic preparing yourself for study abroad and opportunities. Now, you might be here. It's possible we have you're already in the UK. You might also be in Africa or anywhere in Africa. But one thing you need to bear in mind first is before I make any step or any leap in life, preparation is needed. Before we make a journey in life, for instance, you understand that preparation is needed. Now, one more quote I'd like to share today is the only difference between success and failure is the ability to take actions. Now, welcome to today's show's Peel Empowerment with Yeti. This YouTube channel was created to support people and also for us to share ideas, share opportunities, not just only in the UK, but also wherever we find ourselves. But because of time, I would focus on opportunities in the UK. But first of all, I will start with preparation. Now, I mentioned you might be here watching me either from the UK or in Nigeria or probably anywhere in Africa, in East Africa, in Kenya, in Ghana, wherever you are. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in Africa and in the world. My name once more is Yetunde Beatrice, and my role here today is to share with you ideas, opportunities, and what you need to know to proceed. As I mentioned, information is the key. Wherever we find ourselves in the world, without information or without opportunity, it is difficult to make a move. Now, what do you need to know about study abroad? I'm not only going to talk about study abroad, but I'm also going to talk about some opportunities. I won't be able to finish today, but I'll also continue with the event next week. And I'll mention some tips. And also there's some things they call the unwritten rules, which most people don't know about, especially when you're considering moving abroad. Now, the journey of relocating or having academic progression or looking for opportunity elsewhere other than your country of origin takes a lot of steps and preparation. Now, what are the steps? Ideally, when you're coming to do a study abroad, people will expect you to, either have the idea of where you're going to, or probably you must be the richest person in the world, or probably come from a very wealthy home. But one thing, hi Chika, thank you for joining. Hi Ayodele, hi Olumide, thank you for joining. Please share this link, subscribe to the channel, get the notification button. Don't be the only one to hear this today. And don't forget, we have question on the live chat. Put in your questions and I will take them one by one. Hi Bibi, hi Blessing, thank you for joining. And please do invite your friends. Now, there's one thing I like sharing with everyone. When we are about going outside the country, or if we find ourselves in another man's country or in another place, there is a need for us to prepare. And one thing you should also bear in mind, relocating or migration in any way, probably through education or through jobs, is not a sin to do. Because I do say to myself, everybody, anywhere you find yourself, is a migrant. You're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're in Kenya. In one way or the other, being human, we have to take a move or make a move all around. As long as you can move from one place to another or settle, or maybe our forefathers settled years or many years or decades of years ago, we are all migrants wherever we find ourselves. As they would say in the beginning of the world, or in the creation of the world, there was, one man or one woman, Adam and Eve, as some Christians will say, or Muslims will also have their own version as well of who were the first man on this earth to be created before we people start multiplying, and of course migrating to different parts of the world. But one thing easier that international students do use to move out of their comfort zone or their country is through education. Now, what do you need to know? First of all, in an ideal world, if you're looking to study abroad, especially in the UK, there are many things you need to put in order. First of all, understanding the journey of the location and the journey of a student. Research. This is the first point I do talk about, making research. And these are some of the mistakes some international students make. When you're going to study, don't just study or don't just pick a country or pick a region because you just want to move away. As Nigerians will say, some people just want to japa. Now, it's not just about japa. It's about having that mindset that if I'm moving to another country, or if I'm going to study, or if I want to have a career progression, why am I going abroad to study? Or what are the reasons of going abroad to study? We all totally understand that it's a change of environment, is a change of is a look or search for opportunity, but there are also other factors students need to put into consideration. I'll make an example of my personal self. I remember when I wanted to come abroad to study. There are so many things. I did not just prepare in a day, in a month, in 2 months, but I prepared over 2 years. I used 2 years to prepare. Yes, 2 years. I'm very sure for every of our viewers who are watching here today, most of you would have made that step 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years ago. And there's one thing I do tell every student, every viewers, every friend, lovers, impact maker, or change maker: you don't need to be a millionaire to make a move out. But of course, all you need to do is planning. Oh yes, thank you for joining Tiamiyu. They call it Japa. Planning. First of all, what you need to do is to make a research about where you're going. I remember the first time when I was coming to the UK, I made research about Scotland, I made research about England, I made research about Wales. And I had to compare those 3 areas and 3 regions and look at where is affordable. If I come as a single person, will I be able to get job opportunities to have the UK experience? Not just only that, some people with dependents, if you're here, you're married, you also need to factor in when your spouse come with you, would they have the opportunity to get job to work with and to save up more money to support you as well. Now, these are the things you need to consider. And I also talk about various opportunities your dependents can have. So if you're here, you're watching me right now, you have family, friends who are married, who want to come to study in the UK just to improve their career prospect. The good news is that if you're coming with a dependent, your dependents have lots of opportunity, of course, working full time. I will talk about that later on. But first of all, there's a need for you to understand that in life, or probably coming to the UK or anywhere outside Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, or Africa, or Asia, there are need for you to plan where you're going to. No, for instance, I picked Scotland because I felt Scotland was cheaper. But not knowing that actually there is a place, an area, there are areas in England that are very affordable. Oh yes, I'll talk about later on. An example is Lincoln. So not because I stay in Lincoln, but because I've been able to make research about some areas in East Midland, in England, where you can get opportunities. Now, another thing which you need to know as well is understanding the areas, the places where you're coming to study. For instance, England is known to be a place of opportunity, a place of diversity, a place where people are welcome at different job areas. And most times, those are places where you should consider when you're looking to study in the UK, for example. Now, research I mentioned. Research not just about the place, but research about opportunities, which I'll talk about. Now, let's move on from research. Let's move on to finance. One of the mistakes people do make is being desperate to meet just anyone who wants to just who do maybe study abroad. Now, I will tell you tips of what you need to watch out. Hello, Olu. Thank you for joining. And that's a great man. Thank you so much for joining. And please do share with people who are interested in study abroad, people who are already in the UK searching for opportunity. And I do encourage everyone, if you have a question, please drop that on the chat. I'll be able to answer your question. There's also one thing they say in this life: a closed mouth is a closed destiny. Ask questions. So I'll talk about that. I'll talk about the opportunities. I'll talk about the things students should tap into, or international person or migrant should tap into. I also talk about mistakes that people make when they come to the UK. And I will talk about how we need to move forward. Now, finance. What do you need to put in place? Your finance. I mentioned studying abroad or coming or relocating, either through job, is not an easy task to do as an international person. If you're coming to study, there's so many things involved. You have to plan your studies, you have to plan your fees, you have to check if there's a scholarship opportunity, you have to plan how much you need to spend. Thank you so much, Choma, for joining. Love you. Love everyone who is watching me live as well. Please don't forget to drop your question, invite your friends and family to join. So you need your finance to be prepared. I'll make an example. Do you know that if you're coming to study in the UK, there are some universities that offer discounts for you that could support you? I'll take an example of University of Lincoln. For instance, I work in University of Lincoln as a regional manager. And in University of Lincoln alone, we do have what we call the £5,000 scholarship. We have 50% scholarship. Don't worry, I'll also create another show where I'll talk about scholarships and opportunities you can tap into. We have the 50% scholarship for people who are high achievers. For instance, if you have a 2-1 and a first class, you can tap into the 50% scholarship as well. Hi, Tiaminu. Thank you for joining. Also, we have the £5,000 scholarship for those who have second class, lower, and above. Now, third class students who might be here would say, is there no scholarship for third class students? Yes, then there is no scholarship for third class students. But there are other things you can tap into, which I will talk about later on, which now goes down to preparing your finance. What do you need to know about preparing your finance? First of all, you need to know that coming to the UK to study, you need your school fees. Not just only your school fees, you also need to factor in your living or cost or expenses for a year, for 9 months most especially. That's what the UKVI requests from you. Not just that, if you're coming with your dependent, whether your wife, your husband, your babies, your kids, you also need to factor that as well into it. Let me take an example. For you to cut expenses, these are the tips you need to know. Look out for universities that will give you scholarship or discounts. An example is the University of Lincoln, which I mentioned about. Hi, Nana. Thank you for joining. Scholarship opportunities. For instance, if you're coming to study at the University of Lincoln, if you're offering or you're doing programs like management course with placement opportunity, those courses, if you have 2 and above, we give you £5,000 discounts out of 16,500. And that leaves you to 11,500 to pay for your fees. That is a massive discount all alone. Now, having 11,500 to pay for a 2-year course is like paying 11,500 for a 2-year program. So which means you have 1 year study, 1 year working placement, and a 2 years post-study work visa that has been reintroduced into, 2 years working visa introduced into the UK. Now, I'll talk about the post-study later on. Now, let's move on from finance. What else do you need to do? As I mentioned earlier, it's not just about, waking up one day and just moving into the UK. You need to consider, when I come to the UK, what am I going to be doing? Also, things to look into is compare the course you have studied and the course you're coming to do in the UK. When you finish that course, is there a job opportunity opened for you? Or is there any other, pathway for you to survive? That is the mistake some people make. Now, as I mentioned to you, the UK itself as a place is not a place for someone who is laid back. Especially if you've survived in Africa, you survived in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, or any East Africa, we know how rugged, it is to survive. First of all, I do encourage people, Right from our womb, we've been a survivor. You coming out or being born at a particular day, in this real life or this present day, you're already a winner and survivor. And being able to, survive in a developing country, being able to survive in a place where, everyone is just trying to thrive, trying to survive everywhere, it's just like a competition everywhere. If you can survive in your country, trust me, you can survive in the UK. But also, there are tips for you to survive in the UK, which I do mention to anyone who come to me or who speak with me. When you're coming to the UK, you need to drop some things at the border, the UK border, because the way of life here in the UK is different from the way of life there in Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya or any East African country. Thank you so much, Yaminu. There's a very good question here about care jobs. I will talk about that later on. I might not be able to finish that in 1 hour, but there will also be subsequent, virtual events like this, which I will share opportunities. I mentioned earlier, first of all, think about your program. I remember one time I was speaking with a friend who studied education, and the person just mentioned something that was, disheartening, and then told me, Yetunde, I studied education in Nigeria. I don't think I will be able to get opportunities in the UK. And that actually saddens me. Why? Because we forget that being a doctor or an engineer is not the only job that can give us opportunity in the UK. But being a teacher as well is well respected in the UK. How many of us know this? None. That is why we see most people who do education in Nigeria don't value it, because you feel in your country, some certain jobs are not respected. It necessarily doesn't mean that in other countries they are not respected. I will talk about how an education person or whoever studied education can see opportunity. Now, we have so many courses which some of our students would have studied or you might have studied. You have people who do agric EDM, or maybe you've done design, and you feel if I do the same course in the UK, I might not get a job. But I will talk about tips later on, a bit of it, and later in my subsequent videos, I will expatiate more on them. Now, someone on this chat mentioned about care jobs. Yeah, there are care jobs, but not only care jobs. There are also other jobs you could do. Now, let me take a scenario. If there's a student here, or maybe if you're a person here, you did programs like agriculture. Normally, someone who is prepared will go online and search about jobs that are relating to agriculture. In reality, in the UK, there are some certain jobs that are shortage in the UK. And examples of them are nursing, engineering jobs in the sense that which are based on data, computing, IT. Those are well sort out jobs in the UK. But if you don't do those, if you don't do those programs, how would you be able to get the opportunity? Yes, there are tips for that. I'll take myself as an example. I never studied IT. I never did nursing. I never did medicine. But at the end of the day, I was able to get opportunity because of my passion. So if I can, you can also do better. I'll take myself as an example. I did microbiology. And at the end of the day, with my microbiology degree, I found myself working in an higher institution. What was I able to do to get that opportunity? First of all, I was able to open my eyes and see those that are around me. But before that, I asked questions. Yes, questions. Now, someone will ask me there, do I need to ask anybody questions when I'm coming to the UK? I mentioned earlier, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. And they are what they call the unwritten rules in the UK that people don't know about. Ideally, when you come to the UK, most international students will feel, when I come to the UK, my university should be able to give me accommodation. They should be able to sort out things for me. They should be able to give me jobs. Ideally, all universities in the UK will expect you to keep reading and studying. But you left yourself, you know why you're coming. Because you want to improve. Because you're in a search for a better life. Because you want to improve your career prospects. You want a good life for yourself, for your family, for your children, or for your unborn children. Asking questions is a big deal. I remember the first time when I came to the UK, I'm this kind of person who is outspoken. I might look shy, but when I need something, I do ask questions. And the first thing I ask is, what do I need to do to get the opportunities here in the UK? The reality is that nobody told me anything. I had to make that research myself. And that goes down to taking responsibility for our actions and for ourselves. And it's to prepare your mind that when you're coming to the UK, first of all, you don't expect everyone to give you all the opportunity at your fingertips. First, look at your environment. Second, or before looking at your environment, prepare, make research. Prepare your finance, look out for where you will get that opportunity. After you look out for that, ask questions. Because in the UK or anywhere, it's mostly like on your own. It's always on your own. But if you are this kind of person who like making research, you're this kind of person who aspire to grow, you're this kind of person who is not laid back, you see yourself doing a lot and exploring. I will share my example with you. But first of all, I also want to talk about some other points as well. Now, let's imagine I'm the student. First of all, I've made my research. I'm picking England because I know England is more diverse. It doesn't mean that Scotland is not good. It doesn't mean that Wales is not good. But also, you also need to look at regions where you can see people of like minds, where there are a lot of companies to work in, where there are a lot of jobs to work in. Now, as a student, also bear in mind, you're not allowed to work full time, but you're allowed to work 20 hours a week. You also need to consider areas where you can work that is affordable for you for you to save more money. That's also a very good tip for you to know. In addition, you've made research. You've made research on a university to give you scholarship. You've had that discount. What else do you need to do? When I come to the UK, what happened? The university have a flexible mode of payment, not just Lincoln. Every other university have their own different mode. Also, you need to identify a university that will give you a more flexible mode of paying your fees. That is also very much important. For instance, I do get some people who will come to me and say, Yetunde, I'm finding it very difficult, to work at the same time because it's very stressful. At the end of the day, I go to classes every Monday to Friday. My Saturday, Sunday, I use it to sleep. I want to work 20 hours, but I can't maximize the 20 hours. What is the solution to that? Multitasking. Yes. Right now, I can't visualize your face, your reaction, but there is something powerful about multitasking. And that is one thing the UK will teach you, how to multitask. I mentioned something. If you're not in the IT field, you're not in the nursing field, you're not in medicine field, which are the jobs that are of shortage in the UK, you need to put an extra work to get the job. It doesn't mean those jobs does not exist. They do exist. But first of all, you need to identify what you need to do to get the opportunity. I'll mention myself as an example. I mentioned I did microbiology. But as a microbiologist coming to study, or as a biological science person coming to study in the UK for a master's, if you don't have IBMS, you can't get a reasonable job in the UK because you don't have the residency to stay in the UK. But if you're someone who is prepared and who have planned ahead in advance, you can think about doing some certification that can boost your career prospects. How? I'll talk about that in my next video, because today is just to focus on preparation and what you need to know. Someone on the chat mentioned about care jobs. Yes, care job is also something that is very, very popular in the UK. Now, some people will say, oh no, I can't do care job. I know I'm not interested. But if you want to get to a greater height in life, you have to start with the lower height. Yes, there's nobody in the UK who has studied before, limited to 20 hours. No one will come tell you that they have worked full time while studying. It doesn't exist. And no one will tell you they've never had experience working in care jobs, if not care jobs, steward work, or however. These are the jobs you could look into to get part-time or 20 hours work experience, because as a student, you are not allowed to work full-time. But I mentioned something earlier for those who are very quick to grab. If you're married, you're coming with a dependent, I do advise you, If you are married, come with your dependent because it helps you a lot. Reason because let's say if you're a male here, you have your wife coming to study. You as a dependent can work more hours than your wife, who is a student, who is only restricted to 20 hours to work in a week. Now, we've had some people who do it in this way. You work 20 hours because you need to focus on your studies. But your partner, your husband or your wife, your spouse, can work full time, can make more money to sustain your home with you for that period of studies. Yes, it's very, very possible. Very possible. And that's how it's done. You can go online, check the UKVI policy. That is how it is on the website. So now, what are the other things you need to know? I mentioned earlier that dropping our mentality from wherever we are coming from and being open to learn the new system is also a way to go about. Now, there's one thing we are used to in Africa. Everything they call it rush rush. Whether in Nigeria, if you are in Ghana, you just want to make things quicker in a quicker way, in an easier way. Sometimes we follow policy, sometimes we don't follow policy. But when you come to the UK, I mentioned you drop that at the border. When you come in, you're into a new system. You need to learn about the system. What are the things you need to know? First of all, coming to the UK to study, you get your unconditional offer, you get your visa, you are here. You need to also get what they call the BRP. That's your biometric resident permit. Your university will normally tell you to get this because that is an identity and that is what keeps you in the UK. Now, behind that identity, that BRP also have a very good benefit to you and your dependents. What are the benefits? On your BRP, you will see the limit of time you can work. So any employer who will give you a 20 hours work per week as a student would have to see that before they hire you. For your dependents who don't have any limits to work in the UK, it will also be needed for them to work. The first thing first which you need to do when you arrive in the UK is get your BRP. But it just doesn't end to BRP. There's also one more thing you need to get, your NIN. These are the information most people don't know about. Of course, your university will not tell you because basically your main purpose of coming is to study. So no one will expect that a student can merge working and studying at the same time. Your NIN is a national insurance number and is a unique number that every resident in the UK have. And that's a unique number that makes you get paid. When you work with an employer, they get that number from you, and that allows them to employ you to any job in the UK, and you get paid through the NI number. So if you're here, you're a student, yes, NI. There's national insurance, and it's a unique number. If you're here, you're looking to study, or you already have your way to study, please bear that in mind that your NI is very important. You need to get that. Please, it's not NIN in Nigeria. It's called the national insurance. Someone asking if it's a NI. So it is national insurance, which is a unique number in the UK that allows anyone, whether British people also have the NI, you're international as well, you have NI. And at the end of the day, it's a number needed by HRMC to calculate your tax as well. Now, in my other videos, I'll talk about other tips which you need to know. Students, if you're going to be taxed or not, I'll talk about that later on. But, of course, I mentioned I'll focus on preparation. Now, I mentioned earlier, your NI number. After your NI number, what else do you need to know? Ask questions. Now, we've had so many scenarios of people who will come to the UK and say, in my country, whether in Kenya, I've never worked as a carer before. Someone mentioned carer here on the chat. Thank you very much for putting that on the chat. Now, those are simple jobs you can work on. Now, how do you use that? How do you leverage on that to build your portfolio? Let me take an example. Imagine I read microbiology in Kenya, for instance. And I know personally that for me to get a job in agriculture is not easy. I'll be sincere with you. How can I use the care job to build on my portfolio? I'll just talk a bit about it, but I will expand on that rather in my next video. What do you need to do? Do you know that if I am going for the care job, it just goes beyond just caring for somebody. It can also bring some skills for you to have in your CV. Oh, yes. Are you surprised? No, you shouldn't be surprised. So, for instance, if you are going to be doing a care job, ideally, it's an opportunity for you to show how you care for other people, which is relatable and could get you a transferable skills in any company you find yourself. Ideally, if you're a manager, you should learn how to care for people working with you. Oh, yes. All right. If you're here, maybe you're coming to do clinical microbiology and you feel at the end of the day, I want to transfer to another course. Oh, the course is useless. But I can tell you, for that kind of scenario, course isn't useless. An example is my own personal experience. I mentioned earlier I did clinical microbiology, but and now I'm in the educational system recruiting students. How did I manage to do it? First of all, I did not limit myself. Secondly, I was able to identify additional certifications that could boost my employability. How will I do that? I'll talk about that in my next video. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I want you to walk with me in this journey. And I also do encourage you as you're watching me, please put your question on the chat. Hi, Nana. Thank you for joining from Ghana. So I do encourage you, put your question on the chat. No question is silly. A closed mouth is surely a closed destiny. So you need to ask your question as much as you can. Someone asked me, must I do a care job? Well, you don't necessarily have to do a care job, but it's the easiest way for you to make some cash for you to, doing the 20 hours if you're a student. And if your partner or your spouse is a full-time person, the person can work as many hours. But there are also other tips for your partner to get good and contract jobs. I'll talk about that later on in my next video. I wouldn't want to spill all the information to you at this 1 hour short period. Preparation. That's what I mentioned. What else do I need to know? We've had most people who come to me and say, Yetunde, I've tried studying abroad. It took me 10 years, 5 years, to get somebody who can help me apply. Very simple. I'll take an example for University of Lincoln. I'm sure you'll be surprised. Why is it only University of Lincoln? Because I work there and understand the system as well, University of Lincoln. Each university, for instance, have agencies they work with, representatives they work with. For instance, in Lincoln, we have lots of agencies who work in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, or also all across the world that would support students with no charge with their studies. If you want to find more, please check the university websites. Any university you're going to, check their website. For Lincoln, I'm happy to mention it here, lincoln.ac.uk. You get more information there. Now, I mentioned we have someone here with a question. Good to be here. Thank you for joining us, Damilola. I have plans to come to study. Yes, if you have plan, as you mentioned, please start now. What are your plans? Have you done research about where you're coming to study? Have you made research about the finance? If you're coming with a dependence, what do you have in preparation for your dependence? If you're coming if you're coming with your kids, of course, don't forget there's free education here. Yes, that's true. I'll talk about that later on. Hi, Tina. Thank you for joining. I do encourage you, if you have your question, put that on the chat. And also for those who are already in the UK. Now, the question here, you've been talking about those who are just coming in. What about us who are in the UK? We haven't been forgotten. If you're already in the UK, there are also something they call the unwritten rules that most students don't understand. Earlier, I mentioned that, when we come to a new country, most times because of the way of life or the way we've lived in our country, we believe it's the same thing that we would experience here in the UK. But one thing we need to know is for us to succeed and excel in a new environment, we have to learn to adapt and pick up attributes and things in that new environment. Now, for instance, if you're coming from Nigeria and you have this mentality that things should be done for you, coming to the UK might be difficult, or living in the UK might be difficult for you, especially if you don't adjust to the new environment of the system. Or let's say you've come from Ghana or from Nigeria or Kenya, where you are used to giving lecturers tips for assignments or maybe for something. Unfortunately, in the UK, things does not go that way. Reason, because you are here, you are expected to know how to make research yourself. You're expected to be able to identify opportunities. You're expected not to do la cram la pour. Oh yes, I will talk about that later on in some of my next videos, to talk about how to adapt to the educational system. If someone here is asking about, did you say Lincoln? Yes, please. The email address. So Lincoln is lincoln.ac.uk. That's for Lincoln. For any other universities, you're looking to study anywhere across the UK. Once you have the name of the university, you just have to pop it in, and it brings out the name. And don't forget, we have Lincoln in the UK. We have in the US, but the one is University of Lincoln. So let's just continue. If you have this kind of mentality of, I will have someone who help me write my assignments. Unfortunately, coming to the UK to be on your own. Now, there are tips to adapting to the educational system here. That's why you see people, when they don't pick up the new system in the UK, they struggle with study. They struggle in the first semester, struggle in the second semester, fail in the third semester. But if you're kind of a person who like to explore, who like to make research, who like to, rewrite stories, who just want to be exceptional, then you will excel in the educational system here in the UK. And that's why preparation comes in. You don't just prepare about the place you're going to study, about the job opportunities, but you also need to prepare. The educational system I'm going to meet, is it different from Nigeria? Yes, it is. I can tell you it is 100% different from Nigeria. We've had students who have had mistakes of plagiarism. I'll talk about that in my next video, who were sent back home. And also, I'll talk about some mistakes that students make. A lot of mistakes. You have some people who come to the UK for other purposes, and at the end of the day, maybe they don't come to study, and then it becomes a problem for them. I do say to people, you don't need to go through those routes. There's nothing like you coming for your studies, focusing on that, identifying opportunities around you, and keying into that opportunities. Okay, so we are having some questions popping in. I do encourage you, if you have questions about post-study work visa, feel free to ask. Even if it's not the topic of discussion today, I would also pick that up in my next video and expatiate on that, or expand rather on that. So apart from preparing yourself, what else do you need to know? Recognizing or accepting failure when it comes. Yes. The question would be, why should I accept failure? I mean, not everybody is programmed to fail. But one thing we need to understand is sometimes we may get a no. Now, if you ask some of your friends or anyone who has gotten a job in the UK, it doesn't come easy like that. Not even in the UK. Let's imagine in Nigeria and Ghana and Kenya. Is that easy for people to get job? You still need to prepare. You still need to work. You still need to apply. You still need to identify if that job suits your portfolio. You still need to know, even if it doesn't suit your portfolio, you still need to identify if, that course you're coming to do, if it suits into your previous experience and background. Somebody asked a question, how much is BRP? BRP is free of charge in the UK. So I will go back and explain what BRP means. Ideally, if you are an international student, you are coming to study in the UK. Now you get your own conditional offer. We have conditional, we have unconditional offer. I'll talk about that in my next video. When you get your offer, you apply for visa. Upon arrival, or before arrival rather, you'll be given what they call a VINnet. So the VINnet is like a temporary visa for you to come into the UK. The same goes to any other country you go to study. Now, when you come into the country, you successfully pass the UK border, you're coming into where you're coming to study. Ideally, your university would have given you, or probably your university will send you a message, and also on your temporary VINnet, there will be a letter attached to your visa that tells you where to pick up your BRP. It's called the Biometric Residence Permit. Every student have access to that permit, your student visa. If you're coming to work, you also have the work sponsor permit as well. And that is like everybody's life, because without that BRP, You can be without the BRP, you can be stopped on the road or stopped anywhere, or your employer will need to request that from you before, just to show your permit to stay in the UK. So the BRP is free of charge. Nobody should tell you to pay for a BRP. Why? Because when you paid for your visa, you've paid for the application, you've paid for the IHS, and all fees have been included by the UKVI. And when you come, you go to the post office, you pick the card. It's like a very, very small card. You pick that up, and on the same card, you have your unique number, you have your name, you have your date of birth, you have the hours you can work. If you are a student, it will be written there boldly 20 hours to work. If you are a dependent, your husband or your wife who is depending on you, it will be written there that the person have no limits to work. So that's what the BRP means, SEC. So the BRP is free of charge. Nobody collects money from you. When you come to the UK, ideally for your first time, in your first week, you will be encouraged to go pick up your BRP, because that is like your permit that shows that you are allowed to stay in the UK. And we do encourage people. It's not something you can take around to play. It mustn't be missing. If your BRP get missing, you need to pay an extra money to get another one with UKVI, and you need to report that to the police, because it's your identity in the UK or any country you go to. It is your identity. I do encourage you, if you have questions, please put that question on the chat. So in my next video, of course, I'll talk about other opportunities. I'll have a video to talk about menial jobs you can join. As I mentioned, as a student in the UK, trust me, if anybody is deceiving you that you get a bank full-time job as a student, it's a lie. As a student, doesn't mean you can't get it after. As a student, is not possible. But even if you work a part-time here in the UK, you need 25 hours to work. But because you are limited to 20 hours to work, you can work jobs that allows you to pick shifts as a pattern. But there's an exception for some people, and those are people who are dependent. Do you know, in fact, let me put this question out. Do you know that if you're a student coming to study and your dependent can be your wife or your husband, also join you to study, they can get a full-time job? Yes, I'll talk about that in my next video. There are tips of things you need to know. It's just all about making research, reading the internet. Thank God for Google. Thank God for the website. All these things are always online. And of course, I do encourage you, if you've not subscribed and you're watching me, please subscribe. It's just on the screen on YouTube. Click on subscribe, like this video, and also click on the notification bell. So when next I have my next video, you have the notification and you can join as well. So we still have a few minutes to go. And within these few minutes, I also do encourage you, please put your questions. One thing very common with Africans or Asian students is we are always too shy to ask questions. The thing will be, if I ask this question, they will think I'm the one that is having this thing. You can ask a question on behalf of your siblings. You can ask a question on behalf of a friend. And I do mention a closed mouth is a closed destiny. And I will tell you, congratulations. The first step you have done, very good, is the step by joining this video. Thank you for joining this video. So I have a question from one of our viewers here. How quick can someone get a job in the UK as a student? You know we need to start paying bills right away. You're very correct, Seth. Very, very correct. How quick? That's a very good question. Now, how quick will be determined by how quick you can ask questions to people. And I thank you for asking that question. What first do you need to do? I mentioned earlier about the step. When you come into the UK, first of all, you come into the UK. Don't just sit and just walk around. First of all, go into the university, get your ID card, your student ID card, go and register on campus. I'll tell you why that is important. After that, or probably before that, first of all, go and get your BRP. That's where that BRP comes in. When you get your BRP in the UK, you also need to get the job center number, the customer service number. You go online, look for NI customer service. You see their phone number, you call them, tell them you just arrived into the UK. You would like to register for your NI. They send you an application form, or they refer you to a link on the website where you fill in the form and you submit. At least you know that within a week, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, that will be processed to give you an NI number that will allow you to work. Those are the procedure you need to know first. Now, don't forget to register in your university because that is the reason why you came to the UK. You will not be surprised that even some employers will ask you to provide your student letter. Even some places where you register, they can ask you to get your student letter to be sure that you were sponsored by the university. Yes, you can be asked of that. Now, so sec, as you mentioned, the answer is get your BRP, register for your NI. Without that, you can't get a job. We have some students who, I've had somebody in the past who would say, oh, Yetty, I just came into the UK. I know I'm restricted to 20 hours a week. I plan, of course, my studies is my priority, but that 20 hours will give me work experience in the UK. If you are here, you have all the money. If you're not working, I do encourage you, use your 20 hours. Not because you just want to just work, because that experience will be useful for you if you're looking for good jobs. I'll talk more on that in my next video. As I mentioned to you, Sec, you apply for the jobs. Without applying, you cannot get a job without applying because the job will not walk into our rooms. It won't walk into our yard to look for us. How do you do that? If you're coming to study at a university, each universities have their career department. Now, the career departments are not there to give you a job. Nope, not at all. They are there to send you newsletters, help you with CV, help you with job interviews in case you need them. I will talk about that more in my next video. Now, you know to make use of those people. Another way of identifying opportunities is by going to religious places. If you're a Muslim, you go to the mosque. If you're a Christian, you go to the church. If you're not a Muslim, you're not a Christian, you don't have any religion, you can also go to any social gatherings. By doing that, you will see people who have already lived in the country, who are doing some jobs, either menial, full-time, temporary jobs. Walk up to them, ask them questions, and some of them will show you. If you can't, go online. Just Google would help you. Menial jobs in the UK, you will see a lot of them. CV Library, Total Jobs, they are all online. Some organizations will have their phone number on the website. Call them. Tell them you just stepped into the country. You have 20 hours to work. You are open to shift pattern. But somebody drop in here about care job. Yes, care job is where you get most and fastest way of getting a job. So I'll just leave that and move on to the next question because of time. If I study for a year master's course, do I qualify for a 2 years post-study work visa? Yes, 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 and yes, thanks. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, you are entitled to a 2 hours post-study work visa. Of course, which is now graduate visa. It replaces it to post-study work visa. As long as you finish your study, you complete your study successfully. The next step will be to request for a class from your university, which will then allow you to stay in the UK for 2 years to have more and further work experience in the UK. And I do tell people, plan ahead. If you don't get a complete degree, you can't get the post-study. People don't know that. If you finish with a certificate, you cannot get the post-study. It needs to be a full degree. Another question from a student, how do we get a SIM card to make official calls? Very, very simple. Upon arrival into the airport, of course, your number, whether a UK, Ghana, or East Africa, or Kenya, or Zimbabwe, Malawi number will still be on roaming. There are some areas that have free Wi-Fi. You can still manage that for some time. Just walking into a store or a shop. There are a lot of stores and shops you can walk into and getting a SIM as cheap as £1. Some universities give SIM card free of charge. Some don't, depending on the activities they have on the day you arrive. So that's also one thing you need to bear in mind. SIM cards are very cheap. You can get it as low as even lesser than £1. One thing you also need to remember when you're coming to the UK for the first time, make sure you have some change with you. Don't come empty-handed, so that you will not be disappointed with your card when you come into the UK. Have some pounds changed from your local currency. Just have some pounds changed so that when you come in, you can easily buy things like a SIM card. Your phone, your old phone can still be used in the UK. You don't need to unlock. Because I know of some people who buy phones in the UK or outside the country. When they bring it to their country, they need to unlock it. As long as you're using your phone already in your country, you can still use that in the UK. And also, there are some places, areas within the city that have free Wi-Fi. Yes, there are some free Wi-Fi you can connect your phones with, just to connect with people. That is allowed. I want to also expatiate more on that 2 years post-study work visa. I will talk more. I will expand on that in my next video. One thing you also need to bear in mind, if you're married and you're looking to get the post-study work visa, you want your family to join the post-study work visa, make sure they come with you earlier before the post-study. People don't know that. It'll be very difficult after your studies, you apply for post-study and your family will come. They might not grant them. So it's always advisable for you to plan for your family. Don't just come alone to study. You can do this. Come. If you want to do it alone, maybe because of the finance, you can first of all come first. Of course, you have a lot of money in your account. Then your family can present that as well to come in. In my next video, I will also talk about tips of how you need to plan yourself to study. There are different tips. And these are the things you will normally not be told, except if you have a very good agent that will support you with your application. So if you have a very good agent that will guide you through the process step by step. Now, someone is asking me for my phone number. So I'll not be able to drop my personal phone number here, but you can reach me on Instagram. I'm Ogedengbe Yetunde. That's OGEDENGBE Just follow me on Instagram and drop your message on the chat. Or if you want me to talk about a particular topic, thank you for joining. If you want me to talk about a particular topic that is bothering you or bothering a friend, you can send me a message. You can DM me on Instagram, and I will pick up that topic and talk about it. Also, you can follow my blog, YQ blog, on Facebook. It's Y for Yankee, Q for Queen or Quadri, then blog, BLOG. You can also follow me on Facebook. I have an account, Yetunde Ogedengbe, as well. You can follow me. And also, I do encourage you, please subscribe to my channel. All you need to do is go to Pure Empowerment with Yeti. Click on subscribe, click on like, and share this video with friends and family. One more last question. I'll soon be rounding up because of time. Can family join like 6 months into a year master course if they get in within that period of the course? Will they qualify for the postgraduate work visa? Yes, yes, and yes. In fact, a million yes to that. As long as your family are joining you within your master's period, they are okay to join you. In fact, I do encourage, if you are applying for your visa immediately, they can join you at once if you have that finance. But if you don't, they can join you 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 7 months, 6 months later. But as long as it's within your master's course, they, of course, with the appropriate documents submitted to UKVI. Don't forget, there are agencies that are registered with university you can work with, and also each universities will have this visa support team that can guide you through. So please make use of that opportunity. Ask them questions to support you. As I mentioned, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. I have a question here from someone. This is my first time of joining your live channel. Thank you for this. You are very much welcome, Jablani. Please feel free to join. I will always have this every week. This is my own little way of supporting people who are international. As I mentioned, I work at the university. It's very hard to get across to thousands of people, but with this live chat, it would enable me to reach out to more people, endeavor to share this with people. Don't just be the only one listening to me. Share to your friends, your family. There's also one adage that they say, we rise by raising others. If you want to rise in life or rise in life, raise other people by sharing information and sharing important things like this to them. Dams, you're highly welcome for listening to me. And I hope to see you in my next, video as well, my next chat, which could be on Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to be sharing that in advance on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page, and on my YouTube channel. So please subscribe. Hi, Albert. Thank you for joining. Can a dependent who does not have a degree get a job? Fantastic. That's a very good question. Your dependent can get jobs, care support job. Yes, yes, yes. In the UK, there are jobs for professionals. In the UK, there are jobs for people who don't have experience as well. Now, earlier enough, somebody mentioned about care jobs. Care jobs, for instance, are jobs that are open to all. Recently, the government opened up opportunities for carers, for support. Even some companies in the UK can sponsor support worker. I'll talk about that as a separate topic of its own. And with time, I will also work with some organizations on around Lincoln, outside Lincoln. I will also be inviting people on my channel to talk about the organizations and how you can get opportunity there. So as I mentioned, this is a starting point. Thank you, Ayoride, for joining. Thank you, and I'm happy that this is a very good eye opener for you. Please share this video with your family, share with your friends. We rise by raising others. So as I mentioned, they can get a job. There's something they call the care work in the UK. As long as you're someone who is passionate about helping people in the UK, if you're passionate about supporting people, maybe you've taken care of an old person in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Ghana, or you're taking care of a child before, do you know you can work as a support work, even get paid £9, £8, £10, even higher as £15 per hour? People don't know about this without a degree. Now, what some care jobs will do for you is they train you. As long as you can show that you have helped somebody before in your own country, you've cared before for adults. You know, this is a totally different topic entirely. I will pick a particular day. I will share that. So watch out on my Instagram. Click on the notification bell so that you get notification once I have opportunities open. In my next video, I'll do a particular video where I'll talk about job opportunities that you can tap into. As a student, don't forget you are restricted to 20 hours, but you can do some job that 20 hours will make a significant impact in your life. And if you're coming with a dependent, oh my God, I don't know how to explain this. Your dependents can also explore. Now, I'm not saying when you come in, job will just await you at your doorstep. No, you also need to search for it. You also need to be a person who research. If you come into the UK and you're someone who keep to yourself, it'll be very difficult to explore here. Very difficult. And also don't come with a mentality that when I come in, my university will look for accommodation for me. The career department will look for a job for me. Or probably, I have a family here who will look for the job for me. You might not have anyone who will look for the job for you. But if you're someone who is willing, able to ask, easy to tap opportunities, yes, you can access those opportunities by checking online. As a question, we have questions dropping in. I'm looking for NHS Trust and ACA. Who can I apply? Can I apply for School of Nursing? Yes, Glory, you can apply for School of Nursing. But before you apply to nursing, check it out. What degree do you have? Do you have a nursing degree or non-nursing degree? Now, do you know that if you want to do nursing, you can apply for a pre-registration nursing in the UK without a nursing degree? You might have known this already. Yes, you can. We've had people who did accounting, some who did microbiology, some who even did education, and who got a pre-registration nursing course, master's level, a 2-year course in the UK. And upon finishing, you become a qualified nurse. And of course, you know how nursing is in the UK. It's hot cake in the UK. Before you finish, they're even begging you for jobs. Not only in the UK. If you go anywhere in the US, in Canada, in any Australia or New Zealand, they'll be begging you for jobs. If you're IT as well, it's very easy. But not to worry. If you are not on this field before, there are also other things you need to put together to get these opportunities. If you're a carer, you can be sponsored as well upon finishing your studies. But please, I do encourage people, when you come, don't forsake your study. Don't let your studies lack, because that's the reason why that's the reason why you are here in the UK. We have some people who make mistakes of coming in. When they come to study, they don't even come to classes. That can be detrimental to your permit in the UK. There's nothing like finishing successfully while you're studying. Managing, I know it's not easy. If I tell you it's easier, I'm just joking. I'm not an inspirational speaker. I'm just someone who is always talking facts. I talk fact based on personal experience. I talk fact based on reality. If you can manage to finish your studies, Manage with your 20 hours every week. I know it's not easy. You might have bills to pay. If you can get a job of £10 per hour, you do your 20 hours, that's £200 every week. You got about £800 a month. Lucky you if you have a dependent coming with you who can work full time and also make use of the opportunity. If you have kids, you can work it out between your spouse. But the person who is coming to study should be able to focus on studies. And after finishing studies, your 2 years of post-study work visa, if you like, work 1,000 hours. Nobody cares. After your studies, nobody cares. But your dependent, of course, has more opportunity because they are allowed to work full time. We have more questions dropping in here. I'll soon be rounding off. I know I've spent more than an hour, but I want to use this opportunity to help as many people I can help. I do say this thing, and this is my slogan: we rise by raising others. Don't be the only one to listen to this. Don't be the only one to learn from this. Share with people, share with friends, subscribe to Pure Empowerment with Yeti. Very easy. Click on the notification bell as well. So whenever I come online, you get more information. So, and should I use an agent? Yes, Albert, it's very good to use an agent because you might be able to do the application yourself. And after the application, you're stuck with visa stage. So it's always advisable for you to use an agent who are experts in visa area so that you don't make mistakes, because just one silly mistake on your application can cost you a lot of money. I'm sure you wouldn't want to be denied. For instance, if you're coming to study in University of Lincoln, if you go on lincoln.ac.uk, you type in agent, you see all our list of agents that you're working with. And if you're interested in studying in Lincoln, you can always email me or my personal email. Once you go on the University of Lincoln website, type Yetunde Ogedengbe, you always see me there. I represent the African country, and not just African country. I also support students who are also from Pakistan as well. How can I get a care job? Very, very easy, good. Of course, if you are the student, you're still 20 hours a week, go online. Search care jobs in Lincoln, if you're coming to Lincoln. If you're coming to Nottingham, care jobs in Nottingham. If you're coming to London, care jobs in London, online. And if you can't do online, just look for job agency in my area. You will see lots of them as a list. Lots of them as a list. You know, the problem is people don't search. If you're the kind of person that search for knowledge, you will get knowledge. I'm already, out of time. So I will be rounding off. Please bear with me because tomorrow is another day for work. But I will be here next week to also help, support, and share information. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel. If you have not subscribed, share this video. If you have not shared this video, like if you've not liked the video, and please click on the notification bell. Okay, you are skipping some questions. Okay, Jabulani, I have not seen your question. There are lots of them here. If I've skipped your question, please put the question back. I can answer that again. Please, why is it taking the school to a bit of time to process tasks? So apologies for any delay. Now, generally, it's not a Lincoln thing. It's mostly everywhere. Now, as you all know, because of the 2-year graduate visa, a lot of people are rushing into the UK right now, and there are lots of backlogs happening, backlogs in work, backlog in processing. But if you have requested for your CAS already, they will definitely work on it. All you need to do is to email the university. You can email the international inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk or email the inter admissions. That's INTADMISSINS at lincoln.ac.uk with your student ID number, and they would reply you. But please, if you're requested for CAS, I'm talking specifically for Lincoln now. If you're coming from other universities also have their own procedure of how they deal with their CAS requests. For you to request for CAS, you need to have paid your deposits to the university. Example, in Lincoln is a £3,000 deposit with other 3 stages of payments, which means that the Lincoln allows you to have a flexible mode of payments. Now, if you pay the £3,000 already, you can then go online on one unit to request for CAS. Once you request for CAS, that gets submitted. Admission team will work on it and send you a CAS preview. Don't forget, if you have been previously denied visa before, they will need to do some checks and background checks on you. And they can come back to you and ask you some questions to provide extra documents. So that's why I advise students, keep checking your emails. Don't just check your inbox, check your junk folder, check your spam folder as well, because the university can message you and you might not know about this. And also check the One Unit platform. You'll be sent a class preview where you will be told to check all the information about yourself. Once that is correct, you click on it, you submit, and then they process your CAS and issue it out. But if you're here, you've applied to Lincoln, you haven't gotten any feedback, you can also email me at yogedengbe@lincoln.ac.uk. I know this is out of work, but I'm just trying to do that for anyone who is a Lincoln student here. If you are not Lincoln, any other university you have selected would also have their procedure. As I mentioned, there's no harm in you asking questions, asking them why your classes are delayed. Of course, there will always be a feedback to you. But as I mentioned, there are lots of backlogs everywhere. So when do we apply for post-study work visa from Chika? To apply for post-study work visa, it is after you successfully finish your master's or your undergraduate or your PhD course. I will talk about that. This is a very, very big topic of its own. You also need to plan to pass. Don't plan to fail. If a student fail their master's or undergraduate and have a certificate or diploma, they cannot get post-study work visa. People don't know this. And be careful of the way you get receipts. Yes. If you have too much receipts, probably you have a receipt after your visa ends. The university might tell you to go back home, and then you end up not getting post-study. But if you plan to pass and you pass successfully upon finishing, then you contact your visa team in your university. They work on a CAS for you, and then you apply for your graduate visa, which is equivalent to the post-study work visa. Jabulani, I hope I've been able to answer your question. If I've not answered your question, please, you can ask that again. Apologies if I skip any question. Can I come with a dollar debit card? Yes, you can. There are some ATM that allows foreign currency, but to be at a safer side, you don't know how it might be. Just have at least some pounds with you, even if it is just 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 50 pounds. Just have something with you. So, of course, at the airport, you have to declare it, but it's needed so that when you come in, you need to get something quickly. It's easier for you to get something quickly. So you can come with a dollar debit card. We have some people who come with their Ghana cedis, Ghana card, Nigerian card, Kenya card, or any East African country card, or Central Africa, or in Northern Africa. Yes, you can. So where can we apply for a pre-qualified nursing degree? If you want to come to Lincoln, application has actually closed from Lincoln. Some other university open. Just go to your preferred university, type in pre-registration nursing. So many universities offer those courses that are available for September. For January intake for Lincoln, it's closed already in June, but we have other courses that are open for January intake. For instance, September intake for Lincoln is closed already because, of course, we had lots of interest. We've now opened just January intake. So if you're interested, please go on lincoln.ac.uk, put in your application ASAP, and don't wait to the last minute. So Jubilani, thank you very much. Thank you so much. You've paid 80% of Lincoln fees. Thank you for doing that. Please, I'll send you message. Please do send me message. You can reach me. Of course, my work email, yogedengbe@lincoln.ac.uk, during work hours. But this is just my personal YouTube channel to help as much as people as I can. Please follow me on Instagram at Ogedengbe Yetunde, OGEDENGBEYETUNDE. You can also follow me on my Facebook blog, YQ blog. You can also follow me on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn is a very good way to get job opportunities. Also, is a good way to network. Follow me on LinkedIn, Yetunde Ogedengbe. So, just one last question. After CAS is issued, I'll take this last question and I'll close for the. I'll just finish for the day. After CAS is issued, can I still defer my enrollment as a student? No, you can't defer your enrollment. Once you get CAS, each universities have their enrollment deadline. For example, for Lincoln, it would normally be first or second week of the resumption date. So every university have their own enrollment. Some university will give you 1 month to be for the grace period to be able to enroll. Some will give you a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So please, you cannot defer your enrollment. If you enroll and you later wake up and say, "Oh, I don't have the strength to study. I want to move it to next year," the school will tell you to go back home and reapply. So I do advise you, please prepare yourself. Thank you, Ayo, for asking that question. A very good question. University of Lincoln for Nigerians. Yes, University of Lincoln for Nigerians open to Ghana. We welcome students from different countries. For instance, in Lincoln, we have about 18,000 students from over 130 countries. Whether you are from Pakistan, you're from Kenya, you're from Ghana, you're from Asia, East, North, Central Africa, Europeans, we welcome everyone. We have the African Caribbean Society as well. That's a proof to show you that the university is diverse. For instance, in Lincoln, our current chancellor is Lord Adebowale, who is from the Nigerian origin. So it's not just only Nigerians. We have Ghanaians as well. We have Kenya, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Uganda, European, Pakistan, Indian, Bangladesh, Nepali, people from different countries, China. So it's open to different students. Please, Mr. Albert, please been asking about accommodation. Okay, Albert, I'm really sorry I skipped your question. There are lots of questions here. For accommodation, yes, the accommodation is also a big deal in Lincoln. For accommodation, if you're going to any university, just check their website. Easiest way, go on the university website, type in accommodation in the search button. You will see the list of all our accommodation. For instance, in Lincoln, we have 7 halls of residence, about 4,100 rooms of residence. But if that's mostly for single people. This year, the university introduced some accommodation for married couples, but they are limited. But if you are here, you are married, I advise you, go to sperum.com or go to Rightmove, contact agency, email them in advance. There are tips for accommodation. This is not the topic of today. It's a very long topic. I will talk about that in my next video. For accommodation, if you are in Lincoln, you're coming to Lincoln, you can contact me at yogidengbe@lincoln.ac.uk. That's my work. But if you're going to any other institution, I do encourage you, check the website, or the easiest way, look for housing agency near where you are going to. It will give you the list of all the agencies. You can call them in advance, tell them you're a student, you're coming to study. Some of them will tell you need to come to the UK to get before they can answer you. You can send them your temporary visa, tell them you're going to be picking your BRP, send them your bank statement to show that you have the finance to pay for accommodation, and then before they allow you. Now, if you don't know those tips, it might be difficult for you to get an accommodation. Accommodation is a whole topic on its own. I will also put that in my next video. Albert, I hope I've been able to answer your question. Please, if I have not answered your question, just put an hi on the chat. I'm going to create another 2 extra minutes. So if there are more questions, please put that on the chat and then I'll pick that up one by one. So I'm already rounding up. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who have been with me for the past 1 hour. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you've been able to learn, get more information. As I mentioned, Pure Empowerment with Yeti is a YouTube channel I've decided to concentrate on based on high demand. And it's my own little way of supporting international people, be it from Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Malawi, or Africa, or China, or Asia. Wherever you have come from the world, you're always welcome. Thank you, Glory. Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, Sak. Thank you, Prince Will. Prince Will, thank you very much. It's really lovely to see you on the chat. Thank you, Glory. Thank you, Gold. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, my lovely people, for joining. Ayoride, I can also cite you. Thank you so much. It's really lovely to have you. Please join next week. Next week, I'll make it a Saturday to make it easier. But if the time will change, I'll let you know by putting the posters in advance. So don't forget to follow me at Ogedengbe Yetunde on Instagram, Facebook, YQ blog, on YouTube, of course. Click on subscribe, click on like, and click on the notification bell. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you a lovely evening ahead. God bless you all. Enjoy, and don't forget, be positive. Once you believe it, you can achieve it. So once you believe it, you can achieve it. Once you believe it, yes, you can achieve it. Thank you, my lovers. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you next week on the same channel, Pure Empowerment with Yeti. Let's come and empower each other. Let's share this good news, ideas. Without information and knowledge, we cannot move an inch. Information is key, and that's why I'm out here for you, to show my love, to support you in my own little way. Thank you so much. Love you all, and have a lovely time ahead. Goodbye.